Hello everyone, this is Shakthi Bharathy. I'm a psychologist, psychotherapist, also corporate trainer and human resource development manager. So in this podcast and video, we are going to see different views of intelligence. Okay, in the Sternberg triarchy theory, the first we're going to discuss on, then we'll move on to Westless. So I'm just going to give you the overview of Sternberg triarchy theory of intelligence. So his triarchy theory include three facets, that is analytical. Analytical means componential, number one. Number two, a creative. Creative means experiential. Number three, practical. Practical means it is contextual. So Sternberg theory it builds actually on his earlier component approach to reasoning. So his theory is mostly based on observing Yale graduate students. Sternberg believed that if intelligence is properly defined and measured, it will translate to real life success. So Sternberg triarchic theory is an important effort to synthesize the various theories of intelligence. So let's see one by one. First, we are going to see the analytical facets. That means componential. So analytical intelligence is similar to the standard psychometric definition of intelligence. That is, for example, is measured by academic problem solving or analogies on the puzzles and correspondence to his earlier componential intelligence. Sternberg considered this reflects how an individual relates to his internal world. So Sternberg, he believes that analytical intelligence, that is academic problem solving skill, is based on the joint operation of meta components, performance components, and knowledge acquisition of components of intelligence. So in this first category, we're going to see the meta components. So meta components, what it does, it control, monitor, and evaluate cognitive processing. So these are the executive function to organize performance and knowledge acquisition components. So they are the higher order process that order and organize a performance components used to analyze problems and pick a strategy for solving them. They are not solving the problem, they just analyze and give the strategy how it has to be solved. And that part will be done by the performance component. They decide what to do and the performance component will actually do it. So this is all about meta component. So next move on to performance component. So performance component, it execute strategies assembled by the meta component. They are the basic operation involved in any cognitive act. For example, they are the cognitive process that enable us to encode stimuli and hold information in short-term memory and make calculations, perform mental calculations, mentally compare different stimuli, and retrieve information from long-term memory. So these are the major functions done by performance component. So next we'll move on to knowledge acquisition components. In fact, knowledge acquisition components are the process used in gaining and storing new knowledge. That is a capacity for learning the strategies you use to help memorize things, exemplify the process that fall into this category. Sternberg feels that people with a better reasoning ability generally spend more time understanding the problem, but reach the solution faster than those who are less skilled at a task. So this is all about knowledge acquisition components. So next we move on to the creative facets. That is the second facet. So creative intelligence, this involves insight, synthesize, and the ability to react to novel situations and stimuli. So for example, this corona is a typical example for this. Okay, this he considered the experiential aspect of intelligence and reflects how an individual connect the internal world to external reality. Earlier we have seen the analytical component, how he relates to his internal world. And here, in creative facets, he's giving very clearly how an individual connects the internal world to external reality. So Sternberg considered the creative facets to consist of the ability which allows people to think creatively and that which allows people to adjust creatively and effectively to new situation. So Sternberg believed that more intelligent individual will also move from consciously learning in a novel situation to automatic the new learning so that they can attend to other tasks. So in this, he is giving two facets theory, that is novelty and automatization. So basic assumption, what is here about novelty and automatization, that is that there are two broad classes of abilities associated with intelligence, that is novelty skill and automatization skills. A task measures intelligence if it requires the ability to deal with novel demands of the ability or the ability to automatize information process, that is two ends of continuum. Novel tasks or situations are good measures of intellectual ability because they assess an individual's ability to apply existing knowledge to new problem. So this is all about the creative, that is experimental facets. So next we move on to practical, that is contextual facets. So practical intelligence that involves ability to grasp, understand, deal with everyday tasks. So this is contextual aspect of intelligence and reflects how the individual relates to the external world about him or her. See, the analytical component, we have seen how the individual relates to his internal world. And creative facets, we have seen that how an individual connects the internal world to external stimuli. And practical facets, he is given very clearly how an individual it reflects how the individual relates to the external world about him or her. That's a difference. So Sternberg states that intelligence is a purposive adaptation to shaping of and selection of real world environment relevant to one's life. That is purposive means here purposive means that intelligence is directed towards goal. However, it's vague or subconscious. They may be. This means that intelligence is indicated by one's attempt to adapt one's environment. So practical intelligence can be said to be intelligence that operates in the real world. So people with this type of intelligence can adapt to shape their environment. It might also be called street smarts. So in measuring this fact, so not only mental skills but attitudes and emotional factors that can influence intelligence are measured. So this practical intelligence is a combination of, number one, adaptation to the new environment in order to have a goals met. Number one, either they will adapt themselves to the environment to meet the goal, or they will change the environment in order to have goals met. Number two. Number three, if adaptation is not practicable possible, if changing of environment doesn't possible, then they will moving to a new environment in which the goals can be met. So these are the three practical intelligent combination he has given in this. Sternberg believes that individuals considered intelligent in one culture may be looked as an unintelligent in another. So an important asset of this theory is to avoid defining intelligence in terms of intelligence test rather than performance in the everyday world. So with that note, this is Shakthi signing off. The next video or next podcast, I'll meet you with another interesting aspects with Wessler's theory.